So I'll call the meeting to order. You've all had a chance to look at the agenda. Does anyone want to make a motion to adopt the agenda as printed? Moved by
Richard,
Don and seconded by Richard.
leave them.
Those in favor? Everybody's in favor? Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest? Is there anything?
Yes, apparently
Turn your microphone, Jock.
apparently, the Four Counties bus was in and our guys put tires on the back of it, so just better declare that, so.
Thank you. Adoption of previous meeting minutes. Any errors or objections to the minutes? Somebody want to move that we adopt the minutes as printed? Moved by Clyde, seconded by John Wright. Those in favor? Carried. Now. Guess there's no business arising from those minutes. Financial information. So I guess I'll go on to, Robin, do you want to handle that?
Sure, I can handle that for you, and thank you, Chair. So the 2025 financial information and ridership is available for the board to review. It was noted, and thank you, Mark, for the earlier email, grants from other municipalities. With West Elgin having down staffing, we're coming across things that we recognize who does what. And so one of the things we've recognized is who is sending out invoices for our various boards and agencies that West Elgin supports. So we anticipate that those will be delivered to your respective communities in the coming weeks. Therefore, then those would be charged back and applied to the 2025 grants. Otherwise, the information is here for the board to review. If there's any questions. No questions? Okay, thank you.
So, I'm looking at I'm in the wrong spot here. I'm looking at the minutes of the last meeting.
Probably have to go the other way.
Yeah, so that's just so that's the report for the financials. Do you want to do the ridership too, or is there anything you want to say about that?
Well, sorry, the information is provided for the board into the 2025 ridership. What I'm noting is that we typically seem to be doing just month over month usage. One of the things I may recommend to this board or for this organization to look at is maybe start doing year over year. And so we can see changes in our ridership, which would probably be much more useful than for you to just see 1 year within its total.
Any questions on the ridership? Will we get a motion then to receive the Four Counties Transit Committee receive the 2025 financials and ridership as information? Moved by Don and seconded by Richard. Yeah, sorry. Those in favor? Carried. And now we have the 2026 report on financials and ridership.
I need to bring those up. Hold on 1 second, please. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So in front of you is our 2026 year to date. We'll be changing those actually over from actuals to year to date because they're not actuals until we actually do a little bit of an audit on them. What we do not have right yet is our 2026 budget. Again, this is some of the concerns we've had about who does what when we've had some staffing changes within West Elgin. And so we will actually start doing a comparison of what the budget was as approved by this board and then a year to date actuals. So that information is there. Last week when we had put this out, we were a little confused by some of the numbers and I had gone back and our business analyst had pulled the numbers, but they were incorporating the 2025. So it was actuals from last year and this year. So now he has removed the 2025s. Those belong alone within its own year. And these are the 2025 year to date, 2026 year to date, as you see. If there are any questions?
Guess I don't see any questions.
And for the ridership, the information is collated for the board to review. As I just noted previously, we seem to do, or it has been past practice to provide to this board just month over month ridership, but I think I'd like to take this away and then start doing a bit of a 5-year comparison so we can see whether our ridership is going up or down, and then that would help give us some direction on usage, and then when we're doing future planning to understand sort of the overall use and demand of this service.
Any questions on that? If not, I guess we need a motion to approve or receive the 2026 year-to-date financials and ridership up to February 28th as information only. Moved by John, seconded by Clyde. Those in favor? It's carried. Now, I guess probably the main item on our agenda is 7.1, discussion reformalize agreement and terms of reference structure. Just a question, was anybody on the committee or on staff when the last time that terms of reference was formulated? I wasn't, because I think it goes back to 2019. No, none of us. I just wondered what the history was on that, but maybe none of us know. Because it isn't the way we've been running the committee. So,
And most certainly, it doesn't seem this is the way that this committee was structured at the last term, at the last election. After the last election, because you've been operating this way for this term.
I think we were operating this way even last term, before the election, I believe.
On the last term, it was.
Were you on for all like 2018 to 2022? So you would have been on the committee. Were you on Four Counties Transit at that time?
Anne Marie Milson took care of it though, and then,
We just put it. Sorry.
yeah, Anne Marie Milson was a representation from Chatham Kent. And then she brought it to a council meeting and they needed somebody from the council to be on the committee, and that's how I ended up on it, so. Yeah, that could have been negotiated before I come in on it too. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So if I may, Mr. Chair, I think what we had brief discussions last week, though it was an official meeting, and it would be to take some information back to council, because this is a local board of West Elgin Council. We believe these terms of reference need to be approved by the West Elgin Council. So what we would be doing today is just taking information, which this board hopefully then could give us direction to go back to council so we can review this terms of reference and update it. And have that ready and updated certainly before we reconvene this board again in the next term of council. Doing some history, we have found out there was some discussion about the development of a contract, and I believe that would be contracts between West Elgin and your respective municipalities. I have seen a draft, so we're just going to go through a draft that was started. And then we will sort of bring it forward, review with West Elgin Council, and then perhaps move forward with that. But today, I think it's just some information that we may need to put down, and then hopefully this board would care to give us a direction to go back to West Elgin Council to amend the terms of reference, since they certainly don't reflect what is being in place today. Items that we did note is obviously the recognition of municipalities. So currently it says Southwest Middlesex and West Elgin. And that certainly needs to be expanded to Chatham Kent. Newbury?
And then the two members of two members of the public. Currently, we have one from the Adult Day Program and one from West Elgin Health, Community Health Center. So, you know, if that's the wish of the committee, we could put that in the recommendation to council too, that it, and John, you have a point there?
Yes, I have a question, like a point there. I'm just a volunteer for Chatham Kent, but if you're changing this around, it should be put maybe when Chatham Kent puts like a counselor on, because they couldn't get nobody to do it, so I volunteered, but the agreement with Chatham Kent should be that possibly they have a counselor appointed to it. So, because that, it's just, if I didn't do it, nobody was gonna do it. That was the thing there. Or if it's a, like each counselor has four committees appointed to them, at least maybe five, so. Should be maybe put in agreement with Chatham Kent that a counselor is appointed to the position, so.
So that could come both as in the agreement section, in
yes.
sort of a formalized agreement that we would have with the, between municipalities. This would just be to talk about the structure of this board here. If I might, Mr. Chair, there is two options. One, you can say 2 members, or you can specifically identify those agencies. I might lean towards leaving it at 2 members. That way, if there are other agencies of interest, or if things change over time, you're not having to go back and amend this, because right now they're filling the conditions of the terms of reference, as opposed to being specific. If we wanted to use a different agency, then we would have to go back and,
So you're thinking we could just leave it at 2 members?
I think you can leave it to members of the public and our community stakeholders from the adult day program and from West Elgin Community Health fill that role. But I don't think we need to be specific that to identify them, just in case over time agencies change. Then we're not having to amend terms of reference.
And then should it say how those 2 members are actually picked? Because right the way it is now, I think those 2 organizations pick somebody to represent
I
them.
believe it says right now, it says council shall appoint all committee members by bylaw in terms of the appointment. So right now it seems that council is doing that, and that would be the West Elgin Council.
Okay. But in the case of the other municipalities, should it be the other municipalities that are appointing their committee members? Like, you know, Southwest Middlesex appoints 2, Chatham Kent appoints 1, Newbury appoints 1. I don't know, that's just my thinking on it. Because that's the way it's running currently, or at least with Dawn and I, it was Southwest Middlesex that basically appointed us.
I think council would appoint this board, so the structure of this board. Your councils would appoint who is going to come forward to the board, but this council appoints the board. So from terms of reference for West Elgin, I think that's the structure, because they're approving that appointment. I think when we get to the agreement, like more of the formal agreement, I think that's where it will outline, that will be between each respective municipalities, that here's a board for the operation of this service, you will provide 2 members of which, so in other words, we're holding 2 seats.
Anybody else have any other comments on this? Does the staff maybe have a recommended motion or something we could
I
draft to start with and then?
I believe the motion I would maybe put forward to this board would be that staff proceed to amend the terms of reference to be approved by West Elgin Council.
Is that got enough detail in it to suit everybody? And then it would come back, I guess, before our next meeting, there'd be probably something, our next meeting is not till when? Is it June maybe?
June. I believe right now, Terry, you're gonna have to maybe give some support to this. This would go to West Elgin Council, and then they would approve the amendments and amend the terms of reference, and then it will come back to this board for information.
Okay.
Yes, that's, I've already drafted some amendments to the to the terms of reference, and the only two changes that I've noted is the composition, which then indicates it'll be now 8 voting members, 2 West Elgin, 2 Southwest Middlesex, 1 Chatham-Kent, 1 Village of Newbury, and then I'll indicate the 2 members from the public or stakeholders. And then the other amendment is the start time at 9 a.m. But if there's, and then that'll go forward to West Elgin Council for approval. And as Robin indicated, then we'll come back to the committee or the board. Once amended, though, I will send out to all committee members so that if CAOs want to see the changes that were approved as well. Was there anything else in the terms of reference that any committee members note for potential amendments?
And I guess if it's okay with the committee, when we vote on this, will we just continue the way we have been? Let everybody that has been voting have a vote on this? Even though technically, according to the terms of reference, we shouldn't give Newbury and Chatham-Kent a vote, but I think I will allow that because it's just something that's going to go to West Elgin Council for approval anyway. So, and that's the way we have been running it. And I guess then I would, anybody that, you know, anybody could second it or move it too, based on the way we have been running the committee. Are we, John, do you have a comment?
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, I should be appointed from council instead of a volunteer. Like that's the point I was getting at there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I done it through Anne Marie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is Hoda, is she a voting member?
No, she's a staff support.
She's staff.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
If I might, Mr. Chair, what we could make a recommendation if it is challenging within your respective municipalities, is that could be, say, composed of 6 voting members consisting of 2 elected members, 2 members from Southwest Middlesex, 2 members from West Elgin, 1 member from Chatham-Kent, and 1 member from Newbury. And then each of your own municipalities can determine whether that member is going to be a council member or a member of your administration. And that way there could be balance.
So are you suggesting then we just have 6 members instead of 8?
No, and then, sorry, 2 members of the public, but.
Oh, and still then,
Yeah.
so it'd be 8 total.
8 total, but take out council, and that way each respective municipality can determine who is the best person or persons to attend to the committee. Your municipality still can determine you want council members, that's your decision. But if your municipality figures that the director of transportation or a like-minded position is best person to come and sit, then that's for that municipality too.
And this is maybe a small thing, but usually with committees, if somebody's appointed to be on the committee and they can't make it, they can't, have somebody fill in for them, right? So, like, I think sometimes we've had people, if somebody from, say, adult day program can't come, then somebody else comes in their place, but this would be just that one person appointed, I believe. Robin?
I'm reading this, so just right now it says council shall appoint all committee members. So you're putting forward the names from your respective municipalities, and then this council is appointing those members to that board. So unless we then change that to say, and designates, that would have to be for council to determine whether they wish to have designates step in. The challenge becomes that if you constantly have changing members, the continuity of information and ability to move. So you may have quorum, but you may not have people who have sort of transition of information to make decisions or to make recommendations.
So what's the feeling of the committee? Do you want to just leave that out about or designate? Don't put that in there. Is that okay?
The designate.
Unless yeah, because it's not in there now and if,
If I might, Mr. Chair, that might be something we could also bring forward to the West Elgin Council
Yeah.
to consider is whether it would be helpful to have designates. That way we pros and cons. The pro is that if somebody is here, then you have quorum. If
Mhm.
somebody is here, then we have what happened last week. And if somebody, I guess we could always rely on the fact that that transition of information is occurring between people.
Any other comments on any of this? I don't know whether we should have you kind of read back what you've come up with. I know we're changing it from 8:30 till 9. I think we pretty much, maybe just to clarify things, we'll read back. Maybe could you read back?
The two amendments were the membership composition and responsibilities. So the first paragraph is the only thing that I've put amendments to. It'll now indicate that the Four Counties Transit Committee will be composed of 8 voting members, consisting of 2 members of Southwest Middlesex, 2 members of West Elgin, 1 member from Chatham-Kent, 1 member from Village of Newbury, and then it'll be 2 members from the public. And then the only other amendment that I have made in the draft is that the committee shall meet at 9:00 a.m. on the quarterly at the West Elgin Council Chambers. Was there any additional recommendations?
Are we ready for somebody to make that a motion? And second it? Moved by Don McCollum, seconded by Richard. And any more comments on this? Those in favor? It's carried then.
Before you go too far, Mr. Chair, one of the conversations you did have last week was, right now, these minutes go to the West Elgin Council. And maybe this is something we put in our agreement as opposed to the terms of this council, that there was question about whether these minutes went to your respective councils.
Do you think that should be in the terms of reference, or could staff just start doing that, sending the minutes to all the other municipalities, further information?
I think sorry, I think you have a question over there.
Yes, now like I'm on other committees and when we do a meeting, if you're appointed as a counselor, then the meetings go on our agenda, what has happened. As like, you'll see the drainage, you'll see the museum, like all the boards that you're appointed to go to council and nobody pulls them ever, but they're always on the agenda that you can look at, so.
If I might, the difference would be that those are committees of those are your local boards of Chatham-Kent. And so council's reading those minutes because your tax dollars, I guess your tax dollars are going to here. So that argument might be a little moot as well. I think in our agreement, which I believe when we go back into the historical records, there was a direction to have a more formalized agreement between municipalities, put that into the agreement that minutes will be forwarded to respective councils for information purposes.
Yes, Madam Chair. One thing, when we do pay out to 4 counties, it is on the agenda, what it costs and all that, and it's been questioned before,
Okay,
but it does go to council to make the payment every year. So-
okay.
So it's just, I don't know if it needs to be in every time we do one, but it does go in front of our council.
Okay.
So, and I've had to speak before on the bus service at that end of like the East Kent, so. And what's available, so.
So it might be helpful then for Newbury, Southwest Middlesex and Chatham-Kent if we start forwarding minutes for council's approval. Now, there might be a delay because we have to forward the approved minutes.
So it's this board that has always approved the minutes, not West Elgin Council.
But they go to West Elgin Council for
As an
information.
information only.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, generally once they're approved, but I can, because it's such a time lag, only doing it quarterly, I can send them as in draft format. It'll indicate that it's draft so that at least the respective councils are aware of what's going on and not 3 months later. Does that work? Does that make more sense for everybody if I do it that way? Send them as a draft?
Yeah, through the chair, I think that's right.
Okay.
It keeps people up to date and gives them the opportunity to look at it if they want to.
That is no problem. I can do that.
Well, would it be helpful if we passed a motion to that effect? Or do you just want to do it?
I think we'll start doing it. And like I said, we have seen the startings of an agreement, which would be agreements between municipalities. We've seen the starting of an agreement, and I think that's probably the more appropriate place, which is here's the service we're offering, here's the service that we're sharing with adjoining municipalities. Here's how we're going to function this sort of board of management, and here are the things we're going to do for you, which would be, then that's more in the agreement, right? Then the agreement says we would be committed to providing you draft minutes or up-to-date minutes for information purposes. John has his hand up.
Oh, go ahead, John.
Like on this board, have we ever thought of maybe putting somebody from Moravian Town on it? Like, cause the buses out there a lot, but I don't know if you want to entertain putting one more on or see if
Are
get
we,
a representation from there.
are we picking up clients from Moravian Town?
We were in the past, but I don't know.
The logs all go to Dustin, I believe, so he would be able to see exactly where they're being.
But we don't collect anything from them,
No,
so
I think
What-
they're free rides, aren't they? No. I don't. Might be worth looking into, that's all. Just a thought.
where are we at? Did we vote on formalizing the terms of reference structure? Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yes, I have Don and Richard, and that was carried.
So are we ready to move on to the next point, which is appointing a chair and vice chair? Only thing is, the structure really hasn't been approved by the West Elgin Council yet. So technically, should we wait until the next meeting, I guess is what I'm getting at. After it's been approved by West Elgin, the new agreement in terms of reference, and then appoint a chair and vice chair at that time. Would that be better?
If I might, Mr. Chair, you've been doing it for 4 years with this terms of reference, so I think you're safe to appoint a chair. I mean, even though it's much like we may have bylaws within our local municipalities, but over time, things change. We forget about the bylaw. If someone were to take it to court, the courts would sort of say, well, you've been operating this way, right?
So, okay to
I-
appoint
I-
a chair and a vice chair, even if we put John back in as vice chair when he technically isn't even on the committee yet.
Is this chair only good for this, like till the end of the council term?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, thank
You're out of here, aren't you?
So I guess then if everybody's okay with that, will we appoint a chair and vice chair now then? So it's really basically only probably the June meeting. And then what do we have? Maybe only one more meeting after that, September, and then it'll be the election. So,
So currently we have Mark is our chair. And thank you for taking over this meeting as well. And then we have John Wright as our vice chair. So do I have a nomination for chair for the remainder of this term? So I have Don who has nominated Mark. And I have John who has seconded that. All in favor for Mark to carry on as chair? So as mentioned, I have John Wright as our vice chair. Do we have a nomination for vice chair?
I'll nominate John, if that's all right.
Sure. So I have a nomination from Mark to nominate John Wright as vice chair for the remainder of this term. Do I have somebody to second that? I have Clyde had his hand up first. All in favor? Fantastic. So we will continue on as we have been. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry, for running that. New business. If there is any. No new business? Robin?
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry. I just had a quick question about, it was brought up about the policies and that regarding bus cancellations for the adult day program. So when I took over as coordinator, I was kind of just thrown into the position, to be honest. And this is one of my responsibilities that I was given. And I was told that in previous years, the way we've run that, if Thames Valley cancels a school bus, then we follow suit. So the bus drivers have always messaged me the morning of to say, hey, buses are canceled, or we're canceling, whatever. So I communicate with them. All has been good until this year. Thames Valley has decided on fog days to no longer cancel a full day. They just cancel the morning and then they run in the afternoon. It hasn't been an issue until recently. I'm having some pushback from caregivers who really need the day away. And they are questioning why the bus is canceled for the full day opposed to following Thames Valley and only being canceled for the morning run and then should run in the afternoon. So they wanted to be able to drop off their loved one in the morning and have the bus driver return them home in the afternoons. I don't have any policies or procedures or anything on that. I'm just kind of going off of, well, this is what Magda said. I don't even know at what point in time. So I'm just curious, is there policies, procedures, anything that I can share with clients to say, this is what we do, this is how decisions are made?
If I could, Mr. Chair, we can certainly look into that to find out if there's any sort of thing formalized. I think that comes down to a safety issue. And so that would be sort of safety of West Elgin staff. However, I can understand that they may be operating after the morning hours when the fog is cleared. And so we can sort of review with them and have that conversation.
Okay.
I think that would, and I'll go back into the logs to look at our most recent fog days to see if we've operated or if we've had a delay in operation. The only thing would be impacted is I'm going to ask them about their operation. So if they don't take people in the morning, how do they organize their day to make sure they're available to bring people back home? Because sometimes they do take people to the programs and wait.
Right.
So we
And
can
I
talk
always-
with them and see if there's a way to manage that.
Yeah. And I always communicate with the bus drivers. And if they're like the last fog day we had, I drive in from Strathroy and a coworker was like, oh, it's not that bad. And I ventured out and it was actually quite terrible. So I totally supported the bus driver's decision to say like, no, let's just cancel. But by lunchtime, then the sun came out and it was beautiful. And like the afternoon was wonderful. Like anyone could drive around, right? So that's why I think I had more pushback and questions like, the school's doing it. So why are you guys not doing it? So I just thought I would bring it up and, get some clarification or ask some questions.
I wonder if Thames Valley School Board has reverted back to a previous policy, because I can remember not that many years ago, that's the way it was run, that sometimes the buses would be canceled in the morning, but they'd run in the afternoon. And then things changed and they decided, well, if we cancel in the morning, we're not going to run the buses at night too. Now it sounds like they're back to, running the buses in the afternoon, provided once the fog is cleared up. To me, as long as, bus drivers are available, it sounds like maybe we should be able to do that too.
I think we can look into it. Now, you're running your program even on a fog day like that? Would you be canceling your
So-
program? So I hate for people to be dropping, and this is separate from our end of the business, but for people to be dropping off at your site only to find out you don't have the staff.
That day I did run. So I am lucky. My staff's like one's right around the corner in Newberry, the other one is in Glencoe. So we did run that day, but there's been like severe snow days that we've just canceled and nobody's went. But we communicate with the bus driver, we inform the clients, that kind of thing. That particular day, I was like, okay, they said it's not that bad. I'm going to venture in. And once I was like partway there, I was like, well, I'm not turning back because I told people they could come. So I went. But we make it very clear to the clients, yes, if we're going to be open or not. I just wondered, and I don't know why Thames Valley has reverted back to the old ways, because I mean, their shortage of bus drivers and everything that they have going on, like half the time they can't even run the bus route. So I'm like, why did you revert back to old ways? You should have just
It
covered
could
your
be by
butts
my-
and
It could be from
know.
the school board, though, if they're looking at the number of day closures. And if
Yeah,
you're just a couple of hours, because the bus company runs separate from the school. So if the school opens and it's just if you're able to come, then you come. So I think we'll have to have some conversation around. I think let's chat about it some more to see what available. We'll talk with our bus drivers to see what their concerns and issues might be, and then maybe we can come up with a bit of a process to look at that.
Okay, thanks for looking into that, Robin. Is there any other new business? Are we ready for a motion to adjourn then? Moved by Don McCall. No, you got a comment? Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
what about budget, setting any budgets?
Robin?
So we did approve, this board did review their budget and approve. That will then go to West Elgin Council. Unfortunately, we're delayed as we don't have a treasurer. So the budget right now is year to date. We will formalize those numbers of your actual budget once approved by council, but this board did approve a budget to go forward. And thank you. I knew I was going to say something to you, and then we got another conversation. So remember, this board did approve the change in the rates for the Tri-County bus, and therefore those rates were applied starting in March.
What did we change them to?
You're going to challenge my memory. I
Mhm.
believe there is an increase of $1.
I couldn't remember that. I don't know. Was it 8 and now it's 9?
Yes.
That's each direction. And well, seems like a lot, but if we don't do that, then it makes each municipality have to pay even more, right? I think in Toronto, it's like $3.30 one way to take the subway, but they got, tens of thousands of riders and we just have a few, right? And then every time somebody's on, they're riding a lot longer distance too.
And the bus operates a little bit differently than you would a subway or a than a subway or a traditional bus that you would see in a city, whereas you go to a set spot, it picks you up. And then when you're done, you go back to the spot and another bus picks you up. There are times of which our drivers are taking someone to the grocery store and then waiting 20 minutes, or taking them to the doctor's office and waiting 30 minutes. So the cost of that is also wrapped up in the waiting, the time that's spent waiting, because they're not going on to pick up somebody. They may do a route if they have a group of people, they may swing back, but sometimes it's one person and they're taking that one person to whatever the event is.
It's like a taxi.
It's like a taxi
Yeah.
at times.
And they pick people up right at their doors.
Yes. I just spent $13 in Toronto to go one way.
Mm.
So
Okay, are we ready for a motion to adjourn then? Unless there's something else? I want to move by John Wright, seconded by Richard, that we adjourn. Those in favor? Carried, thank you.
Amanda, we'll try and reach out to you then. We'll coordinate a bit with our drivers and then we'll try and reach out to you to see how
Perfect.
we can look at, we need a policy or a process or how we're handling sort of fog days.
Perfect. Thank you.